Hey, Rifters, welcome to the show. Subscribe, review, tell a friend. We got a great show for you. Today's guest is an actor. You can hear his voice in literally every video game in the world. He's probably best known for Nathan Drake in the Uncharted films, Deadpool, the Marvel cartoons. He plays Cyclops in the Marvel cartoons. Uh, I'm very excited to have him. He's become a good buddy of mine, and I can't wait. The great Nolan North is going to be here via Zoom, and it's going to be great. Subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend, and enjoy Reza Rifts with Nolan North coming up next.
From Hollywood, California, welcome to Reza Rifts with your host, Keith Reza.
Hey, Nolan.
There he is.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. How you doing? You're down in my lair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you know how to do this.
This is where it all happens. This is where it all takes place.
Oh, nice. The magic of
Yes.
Nolan North. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm going to see if I want to see if I can. I hate this camera though, because I like get. It's like I want to. It's like I have to look at the camera here to look at you, but you're up there in the screen.
I'm up there on the screen. Oh my God.
Yeah, you look great, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
When you're looking at the screen, I'll know you're looking at me. So don't worry about it. It's
That's
cool.
right. That's exactly right. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How's Atlanta going?
Oh, I got an idea. Hold on.
Oh.
If I move this down here. Oh, this might work. Now if I'm looking at you, it kind of looks like I'm looking more at the fucking screen
Yeah.
here.
Hey, buddy.
What's going on?
Not much. How's Atlanta going? Are you enjoying? And because I know you were in Ontario and then you came back to Atlanta.
Yep. Had to come back and let me see if I can square this up a little better. Square it up. I'm not very good with this kind of stuff, so.
Oh no, you're perfect.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. It's been I was in Ontario. And then I had another one of those Comic-Cons here in Atlanta. So
Yeah.
that was easy because I got to drive down. Had to miss Sunday though because I was exhausted and I just not feeling good. So I'm like, all right. Took
Yeah.
yesterday, had downtime, feeling a little better today. Yeah.
Ontario was fun, man. It was cool because, like,
Yeah.
we talked on the phone, but we met face to face and we hung out for 2 days. So I thought that was really cool. Like, I was
Right.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It was it was cool because as you know, I had no idea even where Ontario was, even though I lived in California for 25 years. I knew it was out past Pasadena, but I was so confused and I didn't know what to expect. You go to those Comic-Cons, you don't know, well, it could be busy, could not, and it was crazy busy.
yeah.
So that was really good. I was happy about that.
Have you ever done a Comic-Con where it wasn't crazy busy?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I did one recently in Denver. It was a new startup one. And it's it's people I've worked with before, so that they've had other ones in Houston and I don't remember where else, but yeah, the Houston one was great, busy. But I think this was their first year in Denver, and Denver has a big fan expo
Yeah.
that most people know about. So sometimes getting the word out for the first ones, yeah, it's funny. You kind of feel like Mickey Rourke in the Wrestler, just sitting there with your twirling a Sharpie,
Right.
just setting up your own table, and like nobody shows up. You're like, how you doing?
I've only been to 2 cons my whole life, and the one was with you, and then I went
Yeah.
to a horror one with Christy Swanson because like
Okay.
I assisted her kind of like how Scott was assisting you, like taking
Yeah,
the money
nice.
and stuff.
Yeah.
So like when I went to the Ontario, and it was actually at the exact same place too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It just
Yes, you got to check out some. Some are like a lot of fun. And a lot of times, with if you're touring with comedy, there'll be one around, and you just
yeah. I think
find
that's
out.
what I'm gonna do, and just
Yeah.
because I had fun doing those interviews and all that stuff.
I watched some of those. Those are great.
It was so great, and then I felt kind of weird that I got a Tara Reid autograph and not a Nolan North autograph, but I was like, Nolan's my friend. I don't need
Yeah,
an autograph.
Tara's is going to be worth more than mine. Yeah, it was a better picture.
Yeah,
Let's
oh
face it.
my, I
Let's
still
face it.
have it. Let's for the folks at home. Yeah, it's
There you go.
she looks nothing like this now.
Well, age does a lot to all of us, and it takes time. I have people come up that with like the first job I ever did was a soap opera. And somebody will have a picture from that show and they're like, "Ah, I want you to sign this." I'm like, "Hey, who's that guy?" Ah, it's like, Jesus, this guy, 26, 27 years old, you know, get that cool look.
Was that hard doing a soap opera? Because I know that you did, because you were telling me you did stand-up comedy for a while. So, like, did you do that while you were doing the soap opera, or how did that work?
When I was in New York, starting out doing theater anywhere I could, you know, um, I always joke with people like my first show was on Broadway. They're
Uh,
like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, it was Broadway and 122nd Street. There's a little theater up there by Columbia." Um,
is it still
so
there?
yeah, I think so. I think it was the Horace Mann Theater.
Whoa.
That's where I did my first play I ever did in New York. But it was wasn't it wasn't even considered off Broadway. It just
Right.
was physically on Broadway.
The
Um,
street.
the street, exactly. Yeah, and I was doing stand up anywhere I could get some time. It was just the idea of I just want to just get up in front of people and just do something,
Yeah.
just perform, and as long as I didn't, have a shift at the restaurant or whatever the hell I was doing, trying to make some extra money. Um, so when I went to LA, and I remember I was looking at when I booked the job. I was only in LA about 7 months when I booked this 5-year contract on this ABC soap opera, but I was like sitting there and I was like, I started writing some comedy again. I said maybe I'll just do it here, whatever. And then I booked this show,
Yeah.
and it's not 5 seasons; it's 5 years. They shoot 50 weeks out of the year.
Right.
Every,
Because it's
every
a soap opera.
Yeah, so it's like every day.
Oh,
And the good thing is I don't think I was very good, but I was the right fit at the time,
right.
and I got paid to learn, what to do, what not to do, and just memorizations never become a problem because you're doing a show a day, 5 days
Yeah.
a week, and
You probably can't do a lot of
yeah,
cut like takes too, like maybe two takes max, and because they have to
well,
move on.
it just depends. You screw up, they're going to do more than two. But
Right.
I made it kind of a mission of mine. Like I would go down, like people would always have their scripts, their pages
Yeah.
while they're rehearsing and everything. And you know, um, I felt like I should know that. Like the only thing I'm responsible for is knowing those lines, so everybody can go home on time, and I can look good. So I would go down for the rehearsal before we shot it, because what we did is we rehearsed and shot. It wasn't like rehearse in the morning, shoot in the afternoon. It was rehearse, scripts down, action.
Right.
Um, so I never went down to set in 5 years with a script. I knew it. I knew it inside and out, backward and forwards. It was like,
Whoa.
the only responsibility I had was to know those. So I would, you know, work on those things every night. Usually you get all your scripts for that week on on Friday, scripts for
Huh.
the next week.
So you have to memorize it during the weekend.
Yeah, so I would go over all of it over the weekend, and then Sunday night get ready for Monday, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Sometimes Monday off, so it'd be Monday. Really know the next day is the best, and that night, I think that's what you just have to treat it like a job. You have
Right.
to make sure that you're doing it. Because I didn't want to get fired. I was like, I'm making money doing this. Are you shitting me?
Right.
Like
Right.
this is so when people say, "Oh, it's really hard, isn't it?" I was like, No, I had one job. Know your lines. Then you walk in, they say, "This is where you're going to stand. Then you're going to move over here on this line." You're like, "Yeah, okay, I know the lines." So all I had to think about was where I had to go, and yeah, but
I
it was
mean,
cool.
I would say soap operas are probably the hardest job in acting because of what you just said. Like, there's this new script every single week, and then you kind of like,
Yeah,
you'd be like, all right, which lady am I kissing this week? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because it all changes and stuff. And
yeah,
uh, but
yeah. You know what? You know what though? A lot of times, the formula for a daytime drama,
yeah,
that's what it's called. Is what it's called. There, you know. Okay, soap opera, you know, daytime drama. So the thing about it was, you'd say certain things, and the next day, certain things from the day before were kind of repeated, and then there'd be a little bit of new information,
yeah, yeah.
and so on and so forth as it went. So it was kind of, I used to joke, I'm like, are they writing this or are they just hitting like a shuffle button? Because I said this, I was talking about this yesterday. They're like, yeah, well, just reinforce. If people miss the day before, you know, then they're not
They get a
taping it. You
little
know,
story.
they get a little context. So, but it was, you know, it was great. It was great to be paid to learn. Um, you know, the downside is, you know, it's, unless you're one of those vets who's been there for 20 years, you know, they you're not making like the you know, I was always like, I want to get to the primetime money. How do
Right.
I get to the primetime money? But you know, it was you know, it was, you know, I finally got to a couple of shows where I did that. But yeah, it was a good starting point for anybody.
And then when did like you realize you had a talent for voice acting because you're a great impressionist as well, and you're in literally every single video game in the world, which I believe that that's still acting. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because you're
no, it is. It is.
yeah,
It absolutely is. You know, it's actually when the show, the daytime show got canceled. Um, a guy I worked with, he said, "Hey, man, you should talk to my voiceover agent."
yeah.
And she's a, you know, you always are goofing around with us and doing these voices. He said, you might be able to do something with that. So I went to meet her, and fortunately, she was a massive fan of the soap opera. So
Oh
she
my
knew
God.
me. Yeah. And I put together a little demo tape and I gave it to her. And it was kind of horrifying. She put it in and wanted to listen to it right there in front of me. And I was like, oh shit, this could go one of two ways.
Does that freak you out when like
No, no.
they?
Well, in that scenario, because I'd never met anybody in voiceover, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I can do accents and different things. I've always been able to. I have you know, like I think some people who are musically inclined, you know, that are can play by ear.
Mhm.
I was always able to hear an accent and then just do it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember halfway through it, she stopped it, and I remember there was this moment of like, oh shit, and she looks, she goes, "What the fuck are you doing on a soap opera?" And I was like, "I don't know. Does that mean you like it?" She's like, "Yeah, this is you. You can work doing this." Oh my god, let's go.
Yeah.
And it was a few months later she moved to a bigger agency, CESD, which is my agency to this day.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah,
Is
so
she still your agent?
she retired, but
Oh.
she was my agent all the way through.
Oh,
Yeah, a
nice.
shout out to Pat Brady. Pat
Oh.
Brady is a godsend, and
Huh.
she started a lot of guys off. And the funny thing is with video games, the way to break in, because animation was so hard to get into, you know, which I know now is like once you're a name in animation, you just people just start calling you, and it's kind of cool. They just make offers, or they like ask you to audition. You know, you're you just kind of you're in the you're in the mix. You're
Yeah.
on you're on the short list. You know, haven't gotten on the short list for films and TV just yet, but I'm working on it.
Really?
No, short lists are hard.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
I can't tell you how many times I've been up for something. It's like, I want you, but now we're gonna. Chris O'Donnell said yes. It was a straight offer. You know, I went. I remember I tested for show Entourage to
Oh,
play. Yeah, and this is a cool. You'll like this story. So you audition, then there's the callback, then the producers call back, then there's the final callback, and
right.
it's like, wow, they're gonna make the decision. And it's down to like three guys, and
Did they make
uh,
you sign a contract on that final audition? So like if
yes, yes,
yeah,
and you know exactly what you're gonna make, which is
yeah.
horrible
Because
because you're
then
sitting there.
they
It's more money.
screw with you.
It's more money than you've ever seen. I've had that happen with HBO wasn't uh, as as good as like the NBC, ABC, CBS shows.
Right.
I've been in there where you're just like, that's more money than I've seen in a long time. They want to
Right.
do that per episode, 22 episodes. You're like, I'm a millionaire. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Um,
But they make you sign regardless if you get the
yeah,
part or not because they don't want you to negotiate that you want more or
yeah,
something.
after the fact. Like, yeah, you're our guy. Well, let's negotiate now. Um, how much am I your guy? No, so they yeah, and you find out very quickly. Um, yeah, that's a downside, but I understand it. Anyway, I was reading for uh, the oh God,
Entourage.
Entourage, and I'm trying to remember. Uh, what's
Jeremy
his?
Piven.
Yeah, no, but the main guy's brother, who ended up being Kevin Dillon.
Kevin Nolan. All right.
Kevin Dillon got the role. Kevin Dillon's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there. I got my pages. I'm ready to go. I'm feeling good. Whatever. And I hear, "Hey, is this the Entourage thing?" And I turn around, and we call him Bunny.
Right.
Bunny, he because his Kevin played in Platoon. He played the guy. They called him Bunny. And I just looked and I went, "Bunny." He goes, "Noli, what are you doing here?" And I just looked. I went, I think it was it Johnny? What
Yeah.
was that character's name?
I've never seen the show, Nolan. So
Oh man. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I got my phone. I want to because it's so much better.
I
Wait,
know
wait,
Jeremy Piven's in it. That's all he talks about.
yeah, no, but he was in Entourage. I mean, I want to make sure I get this right. Yeah, Johnny Drama. So he's
Right.
Johnny Drama. And he goes, "Noli, what are you doing here?" And he's tucking in a golf shirt. He's kind of sweaty. He's not hasn't prepared shit. And he's all fucking yeah, yeah, yeah. And he's got these crumpled papers. I said, "Oh my God, you're reading for drama, aren't you, Johnny Drama?" And he goes, "Yeah, I think so. What is it? Yeah, drama, drama. What are you doing?" I'm doing. Oh, you doing drama too? That's cool. And I was like, I look at him, and the character is literally his older brother. Was the character was on? He was a former soap opera guy,
Right.
and I was like, "Oh, this is me. I'm a former soap opera guy whose brother is a movie star, and they live together." And I'm thinking, okay, your brother's Matt Dillon, so that works. And I
Right.
looked at him, and he was perfect. He was absolutely perfect. And I'm sitting there, and I know him. He is, and he doesn't even have to put on an act. It's just he's gonna be Kevin doing his thing, you know. And I was like, holy shit, he's perfect. If I'm the producer, I'm hiring him.
Right.
And they walk out to get me, and they go, "Oh, Kevin, you're here. Come on in." So he just jumps the line. They go in. He's in there for like 5 minutes. And he's out. He goes, "Hey man, I'll see you. We playing next week, playing a little golf next week." And I'm like, "Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's cool." And they're like, "Okay, Nolan, you want to come in?" I'm like, "Oh, I got to follow that." I'm
Right.
like, and I walk in, I did my thing, and it didn't happen. And I think it was the end of that following week, or we didn't play, but another week later, I saw him. And I said, "Please tell me you got the drama role." He goes, "Yeah, I did. I did." I said, "We're going to start that." I said, "I knew it, man." I told him, I said, "I saw you walk in. I'm like, God, this guy's perfect." I said, I was screwed the second you walked in there. I knew it. And he goes, "Hey, I got to be honest with you." He said, "We were just tying up loose ends. They had made me the offer. It turns out I was just chum." And a lot of people don't know this in Hollywood.
Whoa.
They under union rules, you have to do auditions,
Mhm.
but there's offers out to people. And once they accept them, they still go through the process, the auditioning. But sometimes you're just fodder. You're cannon fodder. You're like, all right,
You're just a waste
yeah,
of dead
yeah.
air.
You're
Yeah.
the in those big. I say it's like those big movies where the first guys run down to meet. They're gonna die. They're all gonna die. I was a
That
red shirt. I'm a red shirt in Star Trek. It's like I'm dead.
That actually kind of makes sense because I auditioned for this show called On the Spectrum, and I thought it was so perfect because I'm on the spectrum, and they wanted like actors
Yeah,
on the spectrum and stuff. And I made it like all the way to the final round, and I lost it to this guy named Rick Glassman, who's another stand-up comedian. He's also on the spectrum. He's a brilliant actor and stuff. But when I saw him there, I was like, "There's no way I'm getting this part." You know what I mean? Because this guy's on. He was on a TV show like on Dateable or something. Like he's a famous
Right.
guy. I was like, I
He's a
think
famous Spectrum guy.
he's more famous than me. And I was like,
Right.
I think he's gonna get it, and then he got it. You know what I mean? But they never told me he had an offer or whatever. I just had a feeling he was gonna get it.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. I mean, other opportunities came up. I did other things. That's what you got to do as an actor. You just have to keep plugging away. I mean, there's so many guys that I knew when I started out with, and they're out of the business now.
Yeah,
So I think if you can somehow find your way, and voiceover was the thing that helped me get a foothold,
yeah,
and built up a pretty good name. Have a good list of stuff I've done, and then. And now, I just did that show for Peacock with Julie Bowen and Bruce Campbell and Anna Camp. Just one season. And I'm going up to New York for the Tribeca Film Festival. Got a film that I did with Logic that has like Ron Perlman and Joseph Gordon-Levitt has a little spot. It's like, you
yeah,
just gotta. I hate being pigeonholed. That's my
yeah.
big thing. I just don't like people like, oh, you're a voice actor. It's like, no, I'm just an actor. And when you talk about video games like Uncharted was the big one. That's motion capture. So that's the exact same thing on the exact same stage with the exact same cameras that James Cameron did for Avatar is what we did.
Yeah.
They could take that data from all our moves and talking and the scenes we did and make it a film if they wanted to.
And they
So,
did.
well, yeah, they did, but that was different. They went full live action on that shit.
They gave you a role, right? Did
Yeah,
they?
yeah, a little cameo.
Yeah.
It was funny because they called me October 2020. They said, "Do you think you could be in Barcelona by Friday?" And I'm like, I've been in lockdown in my house for the last 7 months.
Right.
In a mask. I'll fly to Topeka, Kansas right now. Just get me out of my house before I kill everyone in here. And and it was like it was kind of sad though. You get to Barcelona. It's an amazing, beautiful city. I saw it in the ride from the airport to the hotel. They put you in the hotel room.
Yeah.
It's like 2 COVID checks a day. And then they said, okay, you can't leave your room. You have to, get. I said, yeah. I said, you can't. They said you can't leave here. Um, you know, it's just part of the protocol. I'm like, okay. I said, listen, I won't leave the hotel. I'll go down to the bar, get dinner or whatever. And they said, no, you can't leave your room.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you had to order room service. A guy would knock on the door and you'd look through the peephole and the guy's like running away from the door. Like I'm like some kind of infected disease. I'm like, thanks for the burger.
It's so weird. You can't leave your room, but they could to deliver your food. Like that was the whole thing that was just so like weird about it. You know what I
Oh yeah.
mean? Like, but
Yeah, it was crazy. But it's cool. I got to go out there and do that. And yeah, people say, well, how do you feel about Tom Holland? I'm like, yeah, in my 20s, if I were that nimble in my 20s, God, be
yeah,
great.
yeah. Tom Holland's a good looking guy, I guess.
Yeah,
But like I thought you were pretty good on it. You know what I mean?
I did my little thing. Did
Yeah.
my little cameo. It was in and out. It's like,
No, I
shot.
meant the video game. I rather have.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, I
But
tell people it's really hard. Video game adaptations really don't do all that well for films,
mm,
unless it's like a horror, Resident Evil, things like that. But the problem with Uncharted is if they made the character, somebody me of those same ages, you're always going to compare them to the games.
right.
And in the games, if you, Keith, are playing that game, you are Nathan Drake, not
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
You make the moves, you're doing it, you're in it. You are invested and you're in the adventure. And then they try to tell people, okay, now you're going to sit for 2 hours passively and watch a movie. You're like, I wouldn't do that. He
Yeah.
doesn't sound like the guy in my head, whatever. So I think that's one of the big things. So kudos to Sony for coming up with the idea, like, where was Nathan Drake in his 20s? We can make our own films. We can leave those games to be their own standalone part of the you
The
know
world, yeah.
the world, but we can do our own thing. So I thought it was a bright move. It was smart.
And then like The Last of Us, I never played the game of The Last of Us, but I watched it and then I wanted to start playing the game. And I gotta
Yeah.
say, maybe it's just because I started watching the show first, but I think the show is way better. You know what I
Well,
mean?
the thing about it is, I do know that game from front to back, and what they did, I think a series is good, um, but it's exact except for episode 3 of season 1, it's the exact same thing as the game. So
Yeah,
if you play the game, you're just kind of watching. Oh, here is a theatrical production of what I played. And again, and it did really well, and Pedro Pascal was great. And I'm not sure if season 2 is doing as well, because I think Pedro's killed off in the second episode or something like that.
but
Then
that's how he was in the game, I
yeah,
think.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So now you're relying on, now you've lost your main star. It's like, here's Indiana Jones. Ah, Dr. Jones was killed.
Right.
Now let's see what happens from here. You're like, and
Yeah. Now
he's my
now
favorite character.
now we have to rely on Shia LaBeouf. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, well, he's not even in it, is he?
well, no, but he was in one of
No.
the Indiana Joneses. You know,
Oh yeah, 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 and
that
that's
was a
right.
bad joke. I'm sorry.
That's
Nolan.
right. No, but Indy was still around even with Shia. They didn't kill Indy and he's out of the movie. No, they just kill this guy with a golf club or some shit. It's like, hey, fucking dead. That's too bad. Fuck.
But you were talking about how like these things happen where they don't go in your favor, like when you're reading
Yeah.
for Entourage. But you've also had experiences where it did go in your favor, because I remember you were telling me the Christopher Walken story where you were competing with Jay Moore and stuff. To
Oh,
So like they kind of went in your favor on that. You know what I mean?
well, we were just goofing around. And I don't even know if you'll ever remember that, but we were up at the Laugh Factory doing this stand-up benefit, and I told you the story.
Yeah,
I
it's a great story.
Well, I showed if you look at the list, anybody who loves stand-up knows everybody but me. And it was a publicist on the soap opera I was on who had a friend that was organizing it, said, yeah, let's put him on. And, they said, oh, you just need 7 to 10 minutes. I'm like, I can pull up 7 to 10 minutes, no problem. And I show up there and I go up to the green room and it's Kevin Pollak and Jay Moore and Wendy Liebman and Bobby Collins, Emo Phillips. And I'm like, oh, I am so in over my head here.
Right, right.
And, I remember bits and pieces. The only thing I remember, now it's a charity benefit. So, everybody's going to be, you can't bomb.
Right.
I mean, you can't bomb at a charity benefit. It's like,
Unless you're
and,
Andy Dick.
well, he tries to bomb, but what
He
he
always
did,
bombs at charities.
what he did, well, because he's fucking out of his mind. No, but I remember, the only thing I remember is, you come off the stage down the little steps right in the front. You don't go off to the wings. You just kind of come down and you walk back through the crowd, and Bob Goen from Entertainment Tonight was sitting right there. He goes, that's great. He gives me a high five. I was like, thanks, Bob Goen. And I just walked and I went back up to the thing and I just watched the rest of the people. And it was the last time I ever did stand up, because I was like, it's never going to get better than this.
Well, we're gonna change that. You're gonna do stand up because like we can't talk about it, but there's a project you and I are working on.
Oh, yeah.
And you're gonna have to do stand up. So you're gonna have to get
Yeah.
back into it. You know
I
what I
think,
mean?
yeah, I after I saw you that weekend, I started, like, I was on the plane, I thought of something, and I just put it in my notes on my phone. I'm like, damn, that's kind of funny. And I'm like, what's my identity though? And you know what I did? I watched some Keith Reza stand up.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Did you like it?
I did. It's
Oh.
it's like that. Oh, thanks for asking. I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll tell you. Oh, really? Oh, well, let me tell you. The R stands for, I was like, oh my God, he's going every letter and just never lets up. And you know what I loved about it is you owned that stage. Didn't care what anybody, and they good crowd at
Yeah.
that thing too. It was good. It was just like they got it. You're like the E. Bet you wonder what that stands for. I'll tell you. Thank you for asking. It was like, oh God, it had it was very good. I was like,
Oh.
and I was sitting there. I was not because I know you, but if I was flipping through and I found that, I'd be like, who is this? I was like, this guy's good. This guy's
Oh.
solid.
Nolan North, you watched
Yeah,
my special. I'm so
I did.
excited.
I
Oh.
did. It was really good, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
I
Um,
love comedy. I absolutely love comedy. I love comics. I love good comics. I mean, and it goes all over the place. I mean, I don't have any one kind of style that I like, but it just when somebody gets up there and just if you can make me laugh, it's something because I don't know how to put it. It's like comics are like the modern day philosophers, and they
yeah.
just make you kind of turn it. They can take something so mundane and just turn it into something that makes you go, huh, didn't think of it like that. I didn't see that. It just,
No,
uh,
for sure. And like the way I write jokes is I write jokes with, because Norm taught me this too. Like
yeah,
it's always to write it pretty simple because what a lot of people don't understand is mostly at comedy clubs, there's a two drink minimum. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
90% of those people are going to be drinking and stuff. So if you do like edgy jokes or whatever, they probably won't really comprehend it for a while. So I think that's why if you write simple, it's easier to comprehend it. It's easier to get a laugh. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. And the timing, like I thought your timing was just so good. You just paused when you had to, and some people just get up there, and I don't know if it's nerves, and they just barrel through shit,
Right.
and it's like, oh, yeah, if you just gave a little, let that breathe a little bit. It was one of my favorites, Johnny Carson, who not necessarily did stand up, but he would let that silence sit, even when something bombed, like a joke would bomb in his monologue, and he'd be like, okay, you didn't like that one. Okay. And he was good with it. Move on to the next. It's just, yeah, I think it's classic. I mean, I remember in New York, I remember just going like to stand up New York or Caroline's or something and just going and watching and like watch like Dave Attell walk up there and just destroy,
Oh my God.
destroy, and knows it just like whatever came to his mind. I guess what I'm saying is I want to be a father. It's just after some horrible joke, something horrific. So
But see, you would be great going back into stand up because one for this role that we have you on, but also just for Nolan North because with all your experiences you have with you could use that into
yeah.
comedy. So I think you would be so fantastic at it. And
Well, we'll see. Maybe I it's
I
if
want to
I
tour with you. I guess
there.
that's
Oh, there you go. There you
that's what I
go.
want to say.
Yeah, I opened for you.
No, 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 I will open for you. and,
Ah,
and you just drag me around and I'll help you sell your merch and all that stuff. I,
oh,
I
merch.
yeah, I need a job, Nolan North. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Yeah,
so it depends on me. Great.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yes. What are you,
But
my
you're
third? What are you, my third kid? Jesus.
I'm going to be your third kid now. I mean,
There you
I
go.
have such a connection with you, man. You're like
We do. You know what? We do. Getting on the phone and then all of a sudden here we are. You're in Ontario. I do wish I had gotten in earlier so I could have because you performed that Friday, right?
yeah, and I didn't know okay, so here's how I found out you were there, all right? Cuz I I've been trying to get Tara Reid on my podcast for like 10 years, you know what I mean? And I used to know her a little, but she clearly didn't remember me. So I was like, all right, I'll go to the con and ask her face to face because she'll remember me, right? I had no idea Tara Reid whatever her life happened. You know what I mean? I have no idea. But she
Yeah.
clearly didn't remember me. And then I saw you on the thing. I was like, oh my God, I just talked to this guy 2 days ago on the telephone.
Yeah.
And then I texted you, and then I guess you didn't get the text until the next day or whatever. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I got in late, on Friday, like 8 o'clock, something
Yeah.
like that. Landed. Phone ran out of battery. I get to the hotel. I'm exhausted because I'm on East Coast time, and I put the phone on the charger and turned on ESPN. I was like, and I'm out.
Yeah.
So the next day I see it, and I'm like, oh my God. And I was kicking myself because I'm not kidding. If I think that club wasn't far from my hotel.
No, it was 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I would have Ubered over there to see it. I would have sucked it up that night.
I would have driven you. I would have been like, Nolan, get in the
Well,
car.
let's not get crazy.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe that's a
Yeah.
little. But no,
Take
but
take my
no.
Uber Black and pretend I'm somebody important.
I would have bought the Uber Black.
Ooh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Because you're the star of this project. I gotta make you happy.
Well, okay. Well, we're hoping. We're
Yeah,
hoping. It would be very good. We can't. I guess we can't say anything about it, but
we can't say anything about it because,
uh,
but it's gonna be life changing for you, man. I have a feeling. I have three.
I'd be.
Oh, go ahead.
I have nothing. I have nothing.
Oh,
You have three
I have.
balls. You have three testicles. That's
I,
amazing.
yeah.
Is
I
any
have
one bigger than the other?
the third one is.
Right. But which
Yeah.
one's the third one? Left, right, middle? Do they switch around?
It depends how you count.
Hmm.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like
I'm
some
a
people
righty.
count 1, 2, 3. Some people do 3, 2, 1. Some people do 1, 3, 2. You know what I mean?
I use letters.
Yeah. A, B, C.
There you go. It's B
Yeah.
for big. B for big. Okay. What are your three things?
I had three questions. I wanted to
Okay.
ask you, Deadpool,
Hmm.
how is that acting him? Because Deadpool is a thing that really became huge, I would say within the last 15 years, you know what I mean? And you were like right
Yeah.
on that bubble.
Yeah. It was really cool. So I was doing the first time I ever did it was a animated film called Hulk vs. Wolverine.
Hmm.
And it's a fun, it's a really good movie. And at the time I was doing this animated series Wolverine and the X-Men. I was Cyclops, and the producers of that show were the same ones who did the movie.
Right.
And they came to me after a session one day and they said, "Hey, you got 5 minutes?" I'm like, "Sure." So I stayed late, and he said, "So you know who Deadpool is?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know the comics and everything. What's?" And they said, "Well, we did a movie, and Deadpool's in it, and we had a Canadian actor. I don't know who it is, not Ryan Reynolds.
Right.
Um, he did a great job, but there's something that's just not quite right." And we were talking. Do you know how in between takes of Wolverine and the X-Men, you're saying things that will get us all canceled or fired
Mhm.
because I do that?
Right.
And I'm like, "Yeah." And they go, "We think that's Deadpool."
Yeah.
So we set up a session to record what they had done. They brought me into a room. There's a TV monitor, which is not typical. And they told me the story and everything, what we're doing. I said, okay. They said, we just want you to have fun with it. I said, yeah, absolutely. So they go on the other side of the glass, and I put my headphones on, and there's a TV comes on and the thing, and I'm like, okay. And they said, okay, let's start. We're going to show you the first scene. I said, well, wait, I don't have a script. And they go, oh no, that's the fun part. We're
There's
going to
no
show
script.
we're going to show you this. There is a script, but they go, we're going to show you the scene. We've taken out Deadpool's lines. He has a mask, so you can't see his mouth. Just make it up. Just say whatever you want.
Oh my
And
gosh.
and we ended up ad-libbing, the entire thing, and just doing it a few times to get the timing right. It just was like little thing. Like there's this one part where he's yelling, Wolverine is tied up, and he's yelling, and he's like twirling a gun, and he's like, "What are you doing here? Hi, Wolvie. Remember me?" And I just remember me, and I'm watching it, and he says something like that, and I could hear what he's saying, and he said, "How'd I get here?" He said, "You don't remember? I shot you." And he's spinning his gun. I go, "Heh," and he goes, "Heh," right in the ass. So I'm just following. I'm following his movements. There's one part where there's this big showdown, and then Deadpool kind of just leans over and whispers something into somebody's ear, and they're talking about. He says, "I am the almighty thing," and I go, "I hear he's a bedwetter." Just we just and they took it, they used it all. Um, and I remember my friend Fred Tatasciore, who's a great voiceover guy, who is Hulk as well. Um, they premiered it at San Diego Comic-Con, and I didn't go. And I like one night I get a call from him. He goes, "Dude, your Deadpool is going to blow up." He said it was people lost their minds for the movie and but they love Deadpool.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Really?" And they're like, "Oh my God, yeah." And sure enough, it started. Then they wanted video games, Capcom, Marvel versus Capcom games, a Spider-Man game. I think it was called Shattered Dimensions, where it was almost like the Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger, but Deadpool was the Richard Dawson character.
Right.
And then the Deadpool video game that we did. And one of the coolest things is Ryan Reynolds, who's become a friend now. He
Oh,
said,
nice.
yeah, he told the producers. They came to me one day. They said, "Hey, Ryan Reynolds, he's doing a live action." I said, "Oh yeah, I love that guy." And he goes, hey, "Well, he has the rights to Deadpool, and that's why he's going to do the movie." He saw the movie, and he said, "Yeah, it was a great movie." He said, your Deadpool guy," he said, "first time I've ever seen it done right. He nailed it." And
Yeah.
it was like, and he's been, he'll go on Instagram when things, and he's done a lot of, very, very, very giving. He's very cordial, and he's very much. He said, "This guy, the last movie he posted something about like a picture of me as with Deadpool, and then Cal Dodd, who's the original Wolverine." He said, um, I'm not the only Deadpool. Yeah, Hugh and I are not the only Deadpool and Wolverine. These two guys have done it better than anybody, and it's like or done it as long and as great as anyone. And I message him back, and um, yeah, so it's really cool. And
That's so cool.
yeah, Deadpool is one of my absolute favorites. And whenever somebody else, like, they don't have me in one, and there haven't been many times. There was one show that used a Deadpool, and a friend of mine did it because I was shooting something out of town,
Right.
so I couldn't do it. But I don't even know what that was for, but it doesn't matter. Hopefully I still get to play him, and it's always as good. It's always as fun.
Maybe you'll be in the new Deadpool movie, Ryan Reynolds, and they'll do like a comic version
Yeah.
of it, right? And then
Yeah, my kids were like, why didn't he put you in that big fight scene? You could have been like swinging microphones around.
oh my God,
Yeah,
yes.
and I was
How
just
come he
like,
didn't do that?
I don't know. You know what? I don't know. Uh, I'm supposed to see him in New York in a couple weeks.
Message him about that.
You know, I don't want to. I don't want. It's like I don't know. He might be like, if I'm going to bring him in, I want to give him something more than just a cameo. Because I mean, I'm kind
Right.
of cameoed out. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm the guy who did that voice, but it's like
Right.
Deadpool's not. It's more than a voice. I mean, it's a state of mind.
Oh
You
yeah,
you
yeah.
gotta be a little dark. You gotta be have a little screw loose. And I think Ryan and I have that in common. Just enough. The right mix of charm and absolute craziness.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, like, how did you like because each voice is very unique and stuff, and you
Yeah.
do them so great. Where me, for example, I only could do two voices, but I would love to do hundreds of voices like you. Like, so I'm very jealous of you in that perspective. So, like, I wanted to ask, like, is that something you taught yourself, or did you go to a class, or how did you get all these down?
I joke that everything I got detention in school for is what I get paid to do now.
Yeah.
I was always able to mimic things. I had an Uncle Bob from, he lived up in Danvers, Mass. He talked like this, and he was, he talked really loud because he was deaf.
Right.
So, I don't know why. I mean, my Auntie Faye kind of talked like this, and, it's just, I could hear things, like I would watch Monty Python. I started doing John Cleese, and it sounded very much like this when he talked, and just little things, and
A fish
James,
called Wanda.
yeah, but all those things, just and accents. You know, people like if you're doing English and if you're very astute. I've watched a lot of films and some of the movies, uh, old movies especially. There's such great character actors, and it could be James Mason who's talking very much like this, and it's very raspy, and it's very much down in here.
Right.
Oh, well, then there's others. They play the general, that kind of thing. And then like if it goes down and they're lower class, then the east side, the East End is there, a bit of the Cockney kind of thing. And then up north they start talk a little bit, down in Cornwall. It's the one I like. That I started doing that bit more. That the way they talk like there.
Right.
Liverpool is the one that Scouse I can't quite nail. That's pretty hard. But the Irish talk a little bit faster, and it just I could hear it. I don't know why. And it's not perfect. I know that.
Right.
And if I were given I did do a British accent in one. It was a show with Natasha Henstridge called She Spies years ago.
Oh my God.
And I went in for the audition, and I just said, I'm going to talk like this as I walk in. Hi, very nice to see you. And before we started, I had the balls. I was like, now, did you want my accent or somewhere from, mine's very, Midlands, but if you'd like something different, they're like, no, that's fine. Well, at the end, the girl running the camera turned around. She goes, I'm actually from England. Where are you from? And I was like, Worcestershire. The sauce, Worcestershire. Yeah. I spent a lot of time near Oxford, and they're like, oh, she's like, oh, yeah. Then I show up on set. You said, "Oh, Nolan, you're our Brit on set," and I'm like, "Indeed, yes." I had to talk like that on and off set for the rest of the week doing this thing.
Oh my God.
And I didn't want because I thought, it wasn't like a highbrow show, but I thought if I let them know I'm American, they're gonna
Fire you.
might fire me, and I wanted the job, so the whole week I talked like I walk over to craft services like, oh, doesn't this look lovely? Fantastic. Oh, bangers, I'm just going to have some eggs and bangers, for brekkie. And I'm like, So anyway, it was...
But you have to do that. You have to go all out though on situations like that.
Yeah, but it's not like I'm Daniel Day-Lewis. I'm into my character. I was just like, I don't want to be found out. I'm going to go... I remember I'd call my wife on my cell phone and I'd be talking like this, and she goes, "Why are you talking like that?" I'm like, "This is what's going on, and if somebody overhears this conversation," she's like, "Oh, for God's sakes." But yeah, I think I've always just been able to kind of do those things. If I had a weird vocal range, I loved cartoons, I loved animation. One of my favorite ones that I did recently, I did this show called Lego City, and I had to play a guy named Fendrick. He was a big man, talked like this, everything, and it was very much like this. Right. So we go, and he's like, and it took about in our second season for one of the guys, one of the producers, he goes, "Are you doing this guy?" And I said, "Yes." And other people are like, "Who's that?" What this voice is, I'll tell you what, I'll say a famous line like, "George Bailey, I knew your father, and that savings and loan is no good." It's Lionel Barrymore from It's a Wonderful Life. Have a cigar. Have a cigar. And it was just like, now he became Fendrick. So Fendrick talked like that, and that's how it worked. And you have to do that face when you're doing it, too, because it's very serious.
It's so funny how like everything kind of the backbone has like a story to it. Like for example, like we're both Norm fans. I'll tell you one thing. Norm was just an Archie comic if you really think about it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like, so like it's funny how like it's kind of like there's backbones to every voice or character.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Jughead there. Yeah. Wearing that silly hat. Yeah, that always cracked me up.
But who's one voice you wish you could do that you can't? And if I had the power to give it to you, what would you wish for? Like,
Mm, maybe James Earl Jones, because that voice is crazy good.
yeah,
Um, I don't know. I don't know. It's like there's I so one of the best impressionists that I know alive, and a very very good friend of mine, is Ross Marquand. Ross Marquand played Aaron on Walking Dead, and he is ridiculous uh, because he can do people that you wouldn't think of.
yeah, like
Uh,
John Candy.
well, uh, I shared a birthday with John Candy.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I mean, it's still my birthday. Uh,
Like
but
it was. You guys
yeah, yeah,
celebrate your birthday at a
yeah.
bar
Oh
together or
man,
something.
man, you know what's something? I think that was one of the first uh, celebrity deaths that made me cry.
Oh, for
Uh,
sure.
it was that, and Norm. Norm is another one. Um, it just that crushed me. I loved John Candy. Uh, but Marquand does he does Brad Pitt, and he will actually fill in for Brad Pitt the way I did for Christopher Walken. I filled in
Yeah,
for like 6 or 7 of his movies. I can't remember now, but sometimes it's just it's one line that you have to say that you go in that they have to pick up because he's not available, right? So you do that.
yeah.
Everybody, everybody does him here. Wow, guys. But like when he's down here, he's talking. This is what I do. And my wife calls it my sleepy voice. She'll come in, she goes, "You coming to bed?" I'm like, "I just want to see if the Celtics won." And she's like, "Are you doing that on purpose?" I'm like, "What?" It's just kind of my voice when I get really tired. And then if you put on the weird cadence, that's how it becomes him.
I
Um,
wish I could do a Christopher Walken impression.
Walken's fun. A lot of people have them. But Mark one, Brad Pitt, uh, the best Kevin. He matched Pitt. He matches Kevin Spacey. Not much anymore, but he matched him. Um, he does a John Malkovich that is just you think it's Malkovich. You close your eyes, it's him. I mean, he's
Right.
so dead on with so many of these things. His John C. Riley, kind of does the thing. Mine sounds like a cartoon dog. It's like, hey, let's go look for a bone. But he does John C. Riley, and it's really good. Um, and he'll work on it. And like if it either is in my wheelhouse or it's out. It's
Right.
one of those crazy things.
See,
But I tell people that I don't really do a lot of good impressions. I said that's perfect. There's no such a bad impression becomes your original character.
right.
Period. Like I said,
Right.
I don't do a good John C. Riley, but if I had to do something that's kind of like a silly dog, that becomes a silly dog, and it's your own character now.
Yeah, like I mean impressions like, I was always told in comedy like if you don't know how to do an impression, at least have the confidence that you do know how to do it. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and
So,
and when you like you said, you get that 2 drink minimum. Um, I'm not an impressionist. Like Ross Marquand is an impressionist. He has this ability to kind of fine tune it and hone it, and you like, my God, it sounds just like him. I like, like you've
you do
seen,
it goofing around. You
yeah.
don't
I
yeah.
like the caricature more than just getting it dead on. Like, I liked Dana Carvey's George Bush. That was kind of a over the top impression rather than someone who sounds just like George Bush. Like I can
Right.
do George W. in the nuclear. You try to find that thing, and that's what you do. Just kind of find it in there, and then all you need is some words. But I think I like finding those caricatures of them that are a little over the top. They don't sound exactly like them, but that makes me laugh more.
Yeah.
Um, but when you hear somebody who does it, you just like watching them. They're like, "Oh my God, that's unbelievable." Um, so I never really considered myself an impressionist. I did impressions, like I think I told you I did that when I did that stand up. I did some stupid like Billy Bob Thornton, like, all right, Dan. I did that Carl. You just a boy. You're not talking like that.
Uh,
You know,
Sling Blade, right?
Sling Blade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that was such a great movie.
Yeah. So if I could work when I was doing stand up, if I could work like a voice here or there into an impression, uh, I did, but I wasn't like, here's Christopher Walken going to the bank. Hi. No, it wouldn't, I didn't do that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
I think when you go back in the stand up though, you should use these voices, but not do it like that, but you should do
Yeah.
it
No.
with a joke. Like, like, oh, I went to the bank and the bank teller said, and then do your Christopher Walken. Outstanding. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't know.
You have
That's a
an
term.
outstanding, um, you have deficient funds. I'm like, are you doing that on purpose?
No,
Wow. Like,
but
no, you
here
say,
but here's the best part. You tell the joke, right? And then you'd be like, "Holy shit, are you Christopher Walken?" You know what I mean? It would be like such a great boom.
yeah, he's working at a bank. Work's been scarce. I enjoy coins. It's just stupid shit like that.
Exactly.
The
Nolan, this is
nickel, the nickel is heavier than a dime, yet half the half
half
the
the
value.
price, half
Half
the
the
value.
value. My God. You ever
Yeah.
thought about that? Why is the nickel bigger than a dime? Makes no sense. Makes no sense. Get it? Sense. Pennies. Pennies are dirty.
Where you got to replay the last 10 minutes of this because this is your opening for your
Oh,
new.
oh
This is
yeah.
gonna be so
We're gonna.
great.
Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna pack the house with this shit.
Oh, it's gonna be great. I mean, promotion isn't really our job. Just being funny is our job.
That's
So
right. That's true.
keep in mind. All
That's
right,
true.
Nolan, my last question for you, and
Okay.
this has nothing to do with you, but I wanted to ask your opinion. I was watching a documentary about how the Egypt's the pyramids and Stonehenge, how they were built and stuff, and like the theories because no one really knows how they were actually built. And I wanted to ask what is your opinion on that? Like, how do you
Okay.
feel they
Okay.
were built?
Okay. You come to the right place.
Okay.
I watch Ancient Aliens.
Uh-huh.
The guy with the hair, uh, the forehead that you could watch a fucking IMAX movie on. This is what happened. Everybody was oh my God. Uh I've heard of it. It's like somebody said if they did a 3D scan with a something and the inside they did a 3D scan of a pyramid.
Right.
I think it was the Pyramid of Giza. And they then turned them into like blueprints and they showed an engineer and they said, just by looking at this, what is this? And he looked down, he goes, he looked at it, he goes, that's a nuclear power plant. And the, and everyone's like, oh, and it was aliens who made it. And they're like, how did they move the, then I see another doc on exactly how they moved massive stones and they did it. And I have a whole nother theory.
What's
I
your theory?
I think that shit was built from the top down, and they just kept digging sand out of the way, and they just started just slide it under there, lift and just slide it. Like, hey, how tall are we gonna make it? I don't know. There's just a lot of fucking sand. We got to get this out of here. So, just keep pushing it. Where should we push the sand? Over there. Now that's how the Sahara came about because they were just excavating, and they just
Right.
kept going down. Like, how fucking deep is it? Where's bedrock? I don't know. Let's just keep moving the sand out of here. This is terrible. Oh, hey, it's windy today. Sandstorm. Where did you put it? Oh, put that pile over to the west. Yeah, you never put the sand in the west. It's gonna blow east. You morons. So it's like, God, you're asking me? I don't know. What a fucking indulgent thing. It's like I want some fucking guy rolls in there and he's like, I want a structure and you're going to make these blocks and they're going to be perfectly square and go get you. We don't have that kind of technology. Get your chisels. It's imagine and so many of them. It's like they start building and then they die before it's done. And then their kid takes over and then he dies. And it's like,
Yeah.
four generations later, the guy's like, I wouldn't have built it like that. But, great grandpa started this. So I guess it put me in. I don't fucking know. I mean,
I have a weird theory. You want to hear my theory?
yes.
Okay. So, Nolan, in like 3,000, 3 million years from now, right? In the future, they have these things called time machines, okay? And I don't know why I did time machines like that. But there's time machines. And then they go into the time machine and then they go and they build all this stuff with, and then they go back into the future. And I feel like they're looking at us in a crystal ball and they're just laughing at us because we have no idea how these were made. And it's like their little joke. They're like, haha, fuck 2025.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how my theory is.
that's true. It's like the Jenga civilization. Just like let's build these things just to confuse
The
our
world.
past. Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea. The other thing that I've heard is kind of like we we keep moving forward higher and higher in technology, and maybe and then at some point, fucking rock's gonna hit us, and everyone's dead, and everything's gone except rock. So like these. It's like they built like they built the straw pyramid. Like it fucking burned down. Let's make it out of sticks. Go get some lumber, and then that's why there is a desert because it's like trees, and then fuck that. And they took all the
Right.
trees, and they made that, and then like the big bad wolf fire. This fucking fire thing. It thought it was great, cooks things, but fucking what's next? Let's make it out of rock. So they make it out of rock, and they're like, rocks. They fucking last a while. So it's like, all right, so those came along, and
Right. Well,
and then everybody got wiped out, and you had to start back from zero. It's cavemen, and people just and and now they fire, and then all of a sudden they stumble upon these pyramids, and they're like, oh, this is great.
exactly.
This is
Yeah.
great. Hey, you know what? The only problem with this pyramid, there's no. We need to make tunnels inside. We could live in there, get out of the sandstorms. So, and it became like condos, and then they're like, what happened to your wife? I don't know. She went for milk and got lost, and she's gone. She's dead.
But then
Probably
they
went
put
down.
booty traps in these pyramids, like quicksand. So like it's all
Yeah,
crazy.
that's
But
great. By the way, that's one of my favorite John Mulaney jokes. I thought quicksand would be much bigger problem from watching cartoons than it was. I have never seen quicksand, and I laughed my ass off because I remember, walking through woods looking out for quicksand because I'm like, oh, making sure there's a vine nearby, and what do you do if you fall into quicksand? Uh, you got to move
I
very slowly. You can't make a lot of movements because that's just going to pull you down.
right.
Quicksand. Yeah, I don't know. Here's the thing. Here's my best answer is I don't care. Everybody is like, we have to design. What happened? What if somebody, they say, yeah, those stones are so precisely cut. I'm like, well, they were craftsmen. I mean, people took pride in their work, and
Right.
it's, and then, but they've showed how they got them up there. They had, crane, like
They
the
had time
ropes.
machines.
You know what they had? Slaves. They had slave labor. It's like, I don't want to move that rock. Well, then we're going to beat the shit out of you. Oh, okay. I'll move that rock up there. It's like, how were the pyramids built? They beat the shit out of humans. And if that guy died, they just go put him in a shallow grave. This ode to Norm. Put him in a
Yeah.
shallow grave. No, but it's true. It's like it's insane when we try to figure these things out and we can't just like they do it with everything. Like why did he paint her with that look on her face? Looks,
Oh, I know
like
that.
it's like,
I know the answer to that.
oh, do you? She was
Yeah.
constipated.
No, yeah, well, no. She had no desire to sleep with the guy who was painting her. So she was giving him like evil
Yeah,
looks.
isn't it Da Vinci? Is that Da Vinci?
I don't
The Mona
know.
Lisa.
I don't
He's like doing his rap. He's like, come on, baby, I'll
it
paint you.
I thought it
It's
was
like
I thought it was wait, what did Van Gogh who was the one who cut the ear, his ear?
that. No, it wasn't Van Gogh.
It wasn't Van Gogh?
No, that was before Van Gogh. I know that much.
Okay.
No, I think
Well,
it was Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa. I think.
I'm Googling this.
Look it up. I'm
We
pretty
have to
sure it was
know
Da
this.
Vinci. Da Vinci's. I think it was Leonardo because it's kind of like that joke. He's putting his
You got right.
yeah. Yeah, I
Oh
do
my
crosswords.
gosh.
I do crossword puzzles, man. Come on. Yeah, no,
Well,
he's like, he's Italian. He's like, hey, baby, after this, we go get some wine, we hang out, and she's like,
but I did get it right
no,
that Van Gogh cut his ear.
he
Uh,
did,
yeah,
he did cut his ear off.
yeah.
I mean,
He
he
said he
got.
was hearing voices or something.
Yeah, he's just fucking drinking absinthe. He's
Yeah.
just like,
Well, Nolan North, where can the folks at home follow? You got Twitter, Instagram. Like, where
I
can they go
do.
support you?
I'm not. I'm not. They can always support me at Instagram. Really, Nolan North, um, and Nolan underscore North, because there is an at Nolan North on X, Twitter, whatever. Uh, he wanted to sell me my name, and I'm like, yeah, I just put an underscore, and you're fucked. How's that? So Nolan underscore North. I used to have a blue check, but then Elon wanted money for it. I'm like, not that important to me.
Right. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and they can just support me by sending money to PO Box. No, uh, no. And if we do end up doing stand up, come out to shows. That's what we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Support. And you, Keith Reza, where everyone knows where you can find Keith.
Right. The rifters on
Yes,
yeah. But
he's on
no.
the he's on the second call list for Love on the Spectrum. Like, yeah, he's on the hold. We're gonna put you on a permanent hold.
Yeah. There's a reason why I'm not on that show because everyone asks me to go on that show and I always say because I would win it, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. But do
Because
you?
I think
I've seen the show,
yeah, but
and they're
I
gonna.
was making a joke like it's a dating game show.
It is. Love on the
Oh,
Spectrum is
I've
it?
never seen it.
Oh yeah, no, it is. It's a dating thing, and I'm sitting there going, no, you see, you're not autistic enough.
Right.
You know, they want the guy who's just like in the middle. He's like, I mean, they had some girl. I think she had like Tourette's, but she did like meow. She was just like, no, I really love meow cats, and you just be like, what's with the cats? You're too quick. You take every interaction from that show and then take it on stage and just bury the entire series. They'd be like, this guy's using us. I don't think he's really autistic. He says he's autistic, but then he goes out and gives this brilliant stand-up. This guy is a poser. You're a poser on the
Yeah.
spectrum. That's what, oh, that could be the show. Posers on the Spectrum. And
I,
you get one guy on the spectrum with a bunch of guys who aren't trying to be, and then you're like, that guy's a fucking poser. He's not real.
right.
They do
I
that.
I would never do that though because that's like one of the biggest insults is when people do like say people are faking autism or stuff. So it's like I wouldn't do that to that show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you would. For comedy, you would.
No, I don't think I would. Like I would be like if they're on that show, like whenever someone says they're on the spectrum, I believe them because I don't you know there's just a path that I don't you know what I mean? So like I
I
don't
think it's interesting. Something I don't know, the level of the spectrum where it is because, I've met so many people the entertainment industry that they're like, you're on the spectrum a little, aren't you? They've said that to me. And I'm like, I don't think so.
right.
Why do I mean, it's like, I ADD. I mean, that's not spectrum level. I mean, but it's like that, but
But see
I mean,
that's another thing like when they're telling you that like if they're not doctors, I don't think that because also people could take that as an insult or something
yeah,
and
no,
they don't,
this was just
you
a
know.
checkout woman at Ralph's.
Yeah, it's
And
that's why you got to shop at Albertsons. They
she's like,
don't do
what?
that.
Are you on the spectrum? I'm like, I don't think so. Why? She's like, you buying a lot of toilet paper. You're buying a lot of paper goods. I'm like, well, it's paper good day. I have a little OCD. So today is where I get my trash bags, like plastics and paper. I get my towel rolls, you know.
Huh.
Anybody at Costco could be. I don't know. But I think that's the thing about autism. And sometimes some of the most creative people I've ever met are on the spectrum.
Oh yeah.
It's just because, the brain works in a different way. It just and sometimes it's a better way, So I had one friend who's is on the spectrum, but he was like, he said, "Nah," he said, "it's my fucking superpower now." It's just
Oh
like,
yeah, it's a superpower.
Peter Jackson. I've met Peter Jackson, and
Lord of the Rings.
oh yeah, and he's brilliant. I mean, he's brilliant. So I mean, I think it's the good thing about bringing light to it, and us being serious for a moment. The good thing about, you being so open about it and talking about it is it gives people who sometimes feel a little disenfranchised, feel a little on the, they feel like they're not normal. It's like,
Right.
no, 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 there is a normalcy to it. There's a beauty to it if you understand it and work with it. And, I mean, and some people, are severely autistic.
Like
It's
non-verbal people.
yeah, yeah, and it's been cool with video games. I've met people and their parents, and they come up, and he's nonverbal, but he's there. He's smiling, he knows, and they say, he can't really go out and do things, but he plays Uncharted, and he goes on these adventures, and that world becomes something meaningful to him.
And I think that's part of the cool thing about like an actor in your position is because you really give a lot of those people hopes and stuff just by your characters you're playing and stuff. Like
Yeah, well, I mean,
they're in your world.
yeah, I think and that's the beauty of entertainment. People, some people go, they're attracted to games. Some people films, TV shows. And it becomes something that's comforting and part of their experience. And for a kid who grew up in Rhode Island who never expected to be doing this for a living, it's pretty cool to be part of that. And so hopefully they don't kick me out.
Oh no, definitely. You're my new best friend. So like
Did we just
we're,
become best friends?
we're best friends. We became best friends on the phone call. Like when I talked to you, I was like, "Oh, dude, this is my new guy." But then,
Yeah.
and then when we hung out, I was like, "Oh, this is my vibe." Yeah. So,
Well,
yeah,
you and I have very similar senses of humor.
yeah.
And I think that bonds people because it's like, you're funny as hell, man. And it's
Oh,
just like, I mean,
dude, I
I
think
just
you're
like,
funnier. You're
I,
like
I,
way good. I'm
that,
like,
well, you know what? Then if I do decide to do this, I'm going to need a lot of help. I'm going to
yeah.
need you to sit there and be like, yeah, that one's stupid. Don't do that. You're like,
We're
oh, what
gonna
about this? You're
we're
like,
gonna
oh,
do it. We're gonna do it, Nolan.
I'll start putting some stuff down, and then you and I will kick around, we'll spitball, we'll do some stuff.
All right, and then we'll
All right.
talk next week about the super secret project that we
Super
can't
secret
announce.
project, and yeah, we got to make this happen.
All right.
We'll
All
do
right,
it.
Nolan. Well, I love you and thank you so much for doing my
Uh,
podcast.
oh, thank you for kidding me. The list of people you've had, I'm honored to be on this podcast. I mean, like, again, I feel like I'm the guy on that list at the Laugh Factory, just like, who the fuck is this guy? But it's like, well, now they know me. Yeah.
All right, Nolan. Well, I
All
will
right, buddy.
talk to you later, buddy, and thank you
Absolutely.
again. All right.
You bet. Thanks, Keith.
All right, guys. Subscribe, rate, review. That was the episode with Nolan North, and we'll see you guys next week on Reza Rifts.